This is the topic, and the war is real, and I'm here to tell you that today. The war is real, and if you're not quite convinced, I'm going to be sharing with you a few statistics that really bear it out. But a little bit first about how we know the war is real. This is my company. We started with thinking about human resources in a different way, and we developed a platform of a library coupled with compliance and best practice tools, overlaid an e-learning platform. But what we've learned this morning from our keynote speakers, the other part that we added to it was this overlay of a more personal touch. So we're not just a SaaS software company with a subscription model, but we've added a whole live component that's on demand with experienced HR professionals that can help whomever is wearing the HR hat in their organizations use our tools, but call in to our on-demand advisors, and we help make sense of the complex rules governing the employment relationship today. So we work with tens of thousands of businesses, probably like yours, every day, every year, and we've gathered a lot of data. But that's it for the commercial. Just wanted to give you a sense of who we are and why we're seeing and we know the war on talent is truly real. So, our people, that's what it's all about. We clearly know it. Totango's done a really great job of bringing us all together to talk about the best practice ideas and tips and tools and tricks to make our customers' journeys on our platforms amazing. And all of us in this room, most likely, are part of that journey, and we're working hard to kind of crack the code and make that relationship great. And it all comes down to our people. And so what does that mean? Well, our people are out there doing it. Customer success is a new industry, relatively speaking. We've always had customer service, but customer success is new, and I know relatively new. Guy talked about the explosion this morning in the CS functions. It is so, so true, and we're all scrambling after the same talent, those great employees that are working for us and are getting it done every day for our customers. So why are we worried about the talent war? Why? Well, a few things have really come to light. The Bureau of Labor Statistics just reported their 2014 survey that showed that the number of job openings proportionately for 2014 is the highest it's been proportionately since January of 2001. So for the last 14 years, we are at the point where it is truly a seller's market. And many of you may be seeing that. And what we're also seeing is Glassdoor just published their employee confidence survey. And what that showed was that for those who were surveyed, employees are reporting that they're feeling the most confident. About half of them are feeling so confident they know they could leave their organizations today and get the same or better job within 6 months. And furthermore, the study went on to say that 64% of them actively admit that they are looking for jobs every day. I mean, we know it with the explosion of job boards on the social media sites. It's so easy. Our guy here, our employee here, we don't know whether he's texting a customer, answering an email, or applying for a job. So, this is going on in plain sight in our organizations. So the war is real, folks, and we've got to be ready for it. And let's face it, forums like today and tomorrow is a way for all of us to share our best practices, to be seen and to network. And we're building our own employee brand at the same time. So if we think about this as CS managers, it's a good thing. We think about it as employees, because we're all employees too, right? It's a good thing. So the war is really real. So let me ask you a question. How many of you in this room are segmenting your customers, developing engagement strategies to attract and retain, have a churn management program in place, doing all these wonderful things for your customers? Show of hands. Okay, just about everybody in the room, about what I'd expect. Okay, now raise your hands again if you can say honestly that you're developing employee loyalty strategies, segmenting your employees, looking at your high potential employees, and developing customized engagement strategies to retain your best talent. Anyone? Okay, a few of you, about also what I'd expect, and I'm going to put my hand down too, because at ThinkHR we should know better, and we're not doing a particularly good job of that. So we're all in good or bad company, depending on how you want to look at it. And for those of you who did raise your hands in the back there, I'd love to talk with you afterwards and learn what you're doing to help win the war on talent. So, okay, we heard from Mikkel this morning with the Zen of Zendesk, and I'm going to ask you all to kind of take this as an inward Zen moment and think about your employees, because make no mistake about it, our employees are our customers too. And so just kind of close your eyes if you like and think about what, if you can, first of all, identify who your high potentials are and what you are doing today that differentiates how you're managing your high potentials from your other employees, and what sort of strategies you have in your organization to keep them engaged. So if you look at that, if you need some prodding as to why this is a good idea, besides the fact that there is this perfect storm swirling around us, whether we see it or not, that perfect storm is really around the fact that we've got optimistic employees who are really understanding and recognizing the value of their worth. We've got a heated job market that is out there, and we have aggressive recruiters. In fact, Michael and I were talking just a little while ago, we're sort of also like poaching each other's talent in the industry as well, because it's a new industry. So when you put all three of those together, it just makes perfect sense that we should be working on keeping our best and brightest in-house and not letting them float away to the competition. So that's the Zen moment. Now, there's a number up here, and I'm going to get to this in a minute. If you need a few other statistics that kind of prove the point that now is the time and we should be doing something about this, is the American Management Association just completed a survey of C-level officers and the C-level HR directors in 1,000 companies, and these are Fortune 500 companies. And what that study showed was that of those C-level respondents, 84% admitted that they understood that declining employee loyalty in their organizations could directly translate into declining customer satisfaction and declining profits. And in addition to that, 1/3 of those respondents also said they understood the relationship and admitted that there was a relationship between employee loyalty and profits. Positive loyalty equals more money. Yet, now here's the alarming statistic. So again, it gets to the fact that we're all in pretty good company or maybe pretty bad company. Of those C-level Fortune 500 companies, 80% of them also admitted that while they're doing amazing things to retain their customers and work on their customer success initiatives in the organization, 80% admitted they're not doing that as it relates to their employee loyalty initiatives. So again, it gets back to thinking again, going inward. Our employees are our customers too. And that 80% is an alarming statistic, and I'm going to leave it up there a little bit grayed, because there was another study recently by an organization called Demand Metric that went on to say that when you have even 50% of your high potential employees engaged in the business, it translates into 80% customer retention. So think about that. 50% of your loyal CS people fully engaged translates into 80% customer retention. We heard earlier this morning that the statistic that most organizations are focused on churn. We all need to be focused on churn, of course. But let's take some of the things that we're doing in terms of churn initiatives and also think about it in terms of employee turnover, because that's churn. And so much like we look at churn in the CS organization, where we're thinking about it in terms of avoidable churn, what we could have prevented if we'd been doing a good job in managing our customers' journey through our products and being ahead of it, on top of it, anticipating their wants and needs, and admitting when we may have stubbed our toes and had a proactive stance for getting them back on track. Let's think about that in terms of all that avoidable churn, what we could be doing with our high potential employees to avoid that kind of turnover. Okay, so loyalty is important, we think. Employees are our customers too. Avoiding churn is important, and it translates into profitability and a better customer experience. So here's a pretty fuzzy toolbox, and it's only going to be fuzzy for a minute because I would submit to you that everyone in this room, you're already ahead of just about every other department in your company in terms of understanding how to crack the code on the war for talent, and that's what makes this so much fun. You already have the tools in your arsenal to fight the war, because what we would submit, what we've learned in working with these thousands of companies and looking at the customer data, looking at turnover and exit interviews and all of that, is that our employees pretty much want the same things that our customers do. First of all, they want a fair deal, whether it's the terms of the contract that is fair, that's favorable to them, that gives them what they need. Our employees want that too. So I'm going to give you a few homework assignments, and I'll start now, and I'm going to suggest to you that when you get back to the office, whether it's tomorrow or later on this week, that you think about this. Take a look at the deals that, if you want to call it that, the employment contracts, whether they're real or implied, that you have with your key employees. Are they fair? Are they marked to whatever market you mark your pay, benefits, perquisites, stock to? Think about also the other thing that our customers want, and they want engagement from us. But much like we also heard this morning, we are not the center of that customer's universe. We may be a little bit more, as employers, the center of our employees' universe because they're depending upon our organization to help support their families and their lifestyle. So think about the other things that you're doing in terms of not only segmenting your employees, high potentials like you would segment your high-value customers, but also think about beyond the fair deal, what you're doing to engage that employee, to get them excited about coming to work, excited about what they're doing in your organization, excited about helping our customers. And that could involve things like, there's all kinds of tips and tools and tricks in the HR arsenal, but like I say, you pretty much have them already. We just use different terms. So we start with, we might call it succession planning, high potential planning, replacement planning, which is what we would call segmentation in the CS world, but get to those high-value employees and then figure out what it is that makes them tick. So again, in the CS world, where we might use the Totango product to look at customer health scores and build the dashboard to take a look at how well we're engaging that customer in the journey, we can do the same thing with employee attitude surveys, or even just simply one-on-ones and sitting down and building your relationship with each one of your key people to know what it is that really makes them tick, what resonates with them, what will move them forward in understanding and feeling good and engaging in your business. And third, another tool, as the tools in your toolkit become more clear, is, I'm not going to go there yet, is to think about your brand. You know, we spend a lot of time, our marketing departments work hard on building the company brand, because we all know winners want to work with winners and they want to be affiliated with them. And so we spend a lot of time company branding to make sure that we're telling our customers it's great that they're working with us because we're an industry leader, or we have an award-winning product, or whatever it might be. Well, your employees want to work for a winning organization as well. And think about your employer branding in the same way you would think about your customer branding or your company branding. And work with your marketing department and work with your HR department to come up with what is your employer brand. What makes you a winner? What will be the goal of reminding employees why they joined you in the first place, why they should still want to be affiliated with your business, and build that brand. And then finally, the final tool in your arsenal, which we hope you won't have to deal with and you won't have to look at or think about much, but you should have a plan for it, is to think about your churn management strategy for those key employees you don't want to lose. And so while we may have elaborate strategies, it's all hands on deck, a SWAT team approach, when we see engagement waning with one of our high-value customers, and we pull everybody into the mix, maybe even the CEO and the head of sales and our product people, to remind the customer why they bought our product in the first place and why they should still want to be using our product and not leave us. We would encourage you to consider using the same kind of strategy, or at least have it in place. Hopefully you won't have to use it, to do the same thing with your high-value employees. The honeymoon is over. The market is hot. It's time to remind our employees to love our employees so they'll love us back, to create that kind of organizational loyalty and love that keeps them on board. So Totango, over the next now day and a half, is going to be teaching us, we're going to learn a lot from industry experts on how we can make our journey on the road to customer success a smooth one. And hopefully it'll be as smooth and with no potholes in the road, just like this. And we would encourage you to think about, as you're going through the remainder of your sessions, if you are managing a CS organization and you're worried about this talent war and you're worried about losing some of your key people, to think about the tools and tips and tricks you're learning in order to build that kind of strategy for working with your employees. We'd also encourage you, if you are an individual contributor in your organizations today, to think about your employment relationship with your company and the kinds of things that you're getting from it, the kinds of things you feel you need to get from it that you're not getting today, and be prepared to talk with your boss next week or when you leave the session. It's critical that you do that as well, because you have a hand in retaining yourself in the organization and make sure you know. And I can tell you that some of my team is in the audience, and I am sure that I'm going to have one of those, 3 of those talks for the 3 people that are here probably within the next few days. And it will probably be a lot like the talks that you'll be having with your teams as well. So that's your homework assignment. Go out and do that inventory. Segment your employees. Think about what you're doing today. Think about what you could be doing and build your plan. And so in summary, it's all about showing the love and building the love, because the war on talent is real. Your employees are your customers too. You already have the tools in your arsenal to fight the war. So go out and get them. So thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.